Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break. This is Dr. Michelle Alignay. It's a good Tuesday to everybody, and I invite you to join me for this week's topic that I know many of us can relate with, and that it's about emotional burnout. So, why don't you just get your tea like me? I'm having tea. I'm having lemongrass and lemon. Insert tanglad and lemon for this afternoon. I'm feeling a bit under the weather because of the weather itself and all the stresses that it have caused us this past weekend. And it's not a reason for us to stop talking because we need to learn, we need to share with each other, we need to meet with each other for us to be able to help each one support and nourish our own family life and our own well-being. So please say hi to me if you are here already in this stream. Share this to family and friends. Hello, Amy, and hello, Car. It's nice for you to be here very early. Let me just share this own stream to my network. Okay, so let's continue or let's start with the discussion. Have you ever been in this mode, emotional burnout? Have you ever been in this situation? I would like to ask you, have you ever been in this situation? Nasobrahan ka na ba? Na, na burnout ka na ba emotionally? Yung parang wala nang pagsidlan yung emosyon mo. Hindi mo na alam saan ilalagay. Sometimes, yes, we've been through that. We've been through that. And before we'll thank you, Malu. Get well soon. Thank you. Please say a prayer for me so I can recover better. So dinaan ko sa makeup and composure, but my spirit is high this afternoon. It's just I just have some colds a few days ago, and then that affected the drip at the back of my throat. But otherwise, I'm so good. Okay, ngayon alam ko lahat tayo makakarelate dito sa topic. I actually started writing this topic just the hour before I get in, but I have an idea what's happening to us. Because if you would ask me also, yes, I've been in this mode of emotional burnout. So, himayin natin to friends. Alam natin na lahat tayo makaka-relate. And I would be honest to tell you, and I'll be very vulnerable. Sometimes when we get sick, it's not actually the sickness or the virus. Sometimes it's our bodies absorbing too much of our emotions that wala na siyang paglagyan. And I think that happened to me. It triggered an issue. The flood triggered my anxiety and everything. That's why it got into me. But kaya parang okay. So what emotional burnout has to do with it? So when we say burnout, what comes to your mind, friends? When you hear the word burnout, pag narinig nyo, burnout na ako. So ano ang ibig sabihin sa'yo ng burnout? And ano ang nangyayari sa'yo kung burnout? So what happens to you or what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word burnout? Would you like to share anong nangyayari sa'yo pag ikaw ang na-burn out? Pagod na. Hi, Mommy, Maui. What else? Ano pa? Yes, Car, happy birthday to Buddy Marivilla, our dear friend from Secret Shares. Pagod na. Ano pa? Tired? Tired lang ba? Alam nyo yung pagod. Ipahinga mo yan. Ihiga mo. After a few hours or a few days, you're okay. But with burnout, ayan, may nagsabi dito. Sometimes, Miss Amy, sometimes high blood. Carlo wasted. Hi, Carlo. Hi, Sir Carlo. Nagwawalang kibo. Okay. Burnout, it's an emotional state. It's one of the kinds of burnout. One, it's work or occupational burnout. But burnout, it's a kind of burnout center on the unpleasant emotion. So, ang nakikita natin dito, kaya tinan mo Karen, sabi mo, you're voluntarily crying out of nowhere, and then Yan, is that Musi? Can't think properly. Puro emosyon na lang ang gumagana. Friends, can you still hear me well even though my voice is croaky? I hope that you can hear me well. Irritable, there you go. So, it's centered on an unpleasant emotion. Try to take note of that. And we feel that because of that emotion, that unpleasant emotion, it's triggered by a particular situation. There's a particular situation that it's actually causing that unpleasant emotions mo. Yan. Gusto ko yung mga sagot ko. Ang bibilis niyo sumagot ngayong hapon na to, friends. Parang kayo yung nagdadala ng energy ko ngayon. Low bat ako, kayo ang may charge. Okay, let's help each other. Let's support each other on this. So, if we look at it, it's a state, burnout, it's a state when one feels worn out. Or another term that I use is maxed out. M- Para kang credit card na maximize, na maxed out, or sinagad. Sinagad, okay? So it's a state when we feel worn out, maxed out, and extremely exhausted mentally and of course emotionally due because of accumulated stress or severe stress or persistent stressful conditions. 'Di ba? Persistent, yan at yan. Accumulated, patong-patong, or severe, napunta tayo dun sa isang sitwasyon na talagang nakakaubos. Nakakaubos sa atin. And gusto ko yung mga sagot nyo. Laziness, as in ayaw gumalaw, wala sa mood for no reason. So I'll repeat that. It's a state when one feels worn out, maximized or maxed out, severely exhausted mentally and emotionally due to accumulated stress, accumulate, nag-iipon ng stress, accumulated. Kaya feeling natin, hindi okay na ako dito. Minsan, nag-overlap yan. So, nag-a-accumulate. Akala natin parang naka-recover na, but wait, no. Nagdudok, nagpatong lang, nagpapatong lang. Akala mo wala yung isa, napatungan lang ng isa pang stress. Kaya hindi mo nakita kasi napatungan. So, accumulated stress, severely stressful condition, or prolonged and persistent stressful situation. So, sis Dian, malapit nang mapuno ang salok. Hindi. Kung burnout na tayo, puno na ang salok. Puno na yan at aapaw na. Okay, kaya I would like to take that it can be being in a state of emotional burnout, it can be very exhausting. Yung pagod mo na nakakapagod. Have you ever been in that situation? I'm sorry, it's tricky. Have you ever been in that situation na nakakapagod na pagod ka? Or pagod na pagod ka ng maging pagod? Have you ever been there? Naramdaman mo na yun ng nakakapagod na tong lagi na lang akong pagod. Taas ang kamay, say present kung sino man sa inyo ang nakaka-relate sa ganyan. Pagod na akong maging pagod. And maybe it's time for us to check, are we in the state of emotional burnout? Yes. So, ngayon, it can be very exhausting. Actually, it can be career-related. It can be, ayan, tama ka, Jod. Sawa ka ng mapagod. Oh, I feel for you guys. You can absolutely relate. Hi, Anne. I miss you, Anne Bernardo. I super miss you, my dear. Present, parang ang dami nakaka-relate. Isama nyo ako sa inyo. Kasi ako rin alam nyo, being in this lockdown situation, let's make daldalan kasi very engaged kayo. Being in this lockdown situation that parang maya't maya, iba-iba yung nangyayari with no career plan, with no clear direction, it can actually cause emotional burnout. Yung parang we're trapped in the house. If some of you, lalo na yung mga hindi lumalabas. Ako personally, I really take steps to go out safely. Kaya ako ambunan yata or something. But I take steps to go out safely because I would like to to diffuse. I would like to diffuse my energy if not sasabog na ako sa loob. And it's true being in this is not a real situation. Even if we say that life on lockdown it's the new normal, this is still a stressful situation, especially for many who lost their loved ones, some of you who lost their work, some of you who are in the middle of a marital or a family dispute triggered by this pandemic or this lockdown situation. That can happen. That can happen. It can be very exhausting, friends. It can be very exhausting. So it can be career related, and then your career, you love your career, but my God, hindi ako makalabas. Or the way you do your work is not the way you do your work. Get it? So that's why it can be really exhausting on how you keep trying to pivot everything. I know last year, yan yung maraming nangyari sa atin. Na parang, okay, i-shift natin hanggat kaya. And then until this year, alam nyo this year, last year we are on that trying to survive mode. This year, parang pababa na ang napansin ko because of all the hope, because of everything that's happening, sama mo pa ang SONA, pababa na yung enerhiya natin. Parang hindi lang puno na yung salop, negative na. Our energies and our emotional bank account, it's already declining. So friends, I would like you to realize that it affects how we function, it affects how we relate with people. Yun yung thing with emotional burnout. It can affect how we function. Kung dati we can focus, now it's hard to focus. Dati, the thing is with work burnout, I would like to reflect, you would like to think about this. The three signs of burnout, especially in terms of career burnout or occupational burnout na tinatawag ng World Health Organization. World occupational burnout, anything that you feel that emotional exhaustion, but it's only applied to work. Pero i-apply mo sa ibang bagay sa buhay mo like your family life, your social life, okay ka naman. So that's not another mental health issue. It's not depression. It's just really burnout. Ako, I've been in the work burnout na kahit na mahal ko yung trabaho ko before, I just lost it parang 1 decade after working as a guidance counselor. Parang, wow, I'm so tired because there's so many things that happened to me on that same year also. And then, but I would like you to note that it can also be an emotional burnout. And emotional burnout, as I said earlier, it can affect our relationships. The funny thing is that it can affect our relationships and it can actually be also because of the relationships we have. Can you agree that the people we love, the people we serve, the people that we are caring for can actually be also the source of our burnout? Agree, disagree. Mahal mo sila pero nababurnout ka sa kanila. Tama, mali. Because of this prolonged situation, pag ilang days na tayo magkasama together with our families, do you know that there's also um, studies coming out that there is such thing also as parental burnout? Nangyayari yan, friends, and I would like you to look into the signs of three signs of burnout. Unang-una dito, well, I'm talking about emotional burnout, but of course, the special feature here is the emotional exhaustion. Talaga totally draining. Yung emotion mo is haywire. Somebody said here earlier, I'm trying to look, yan, wala sa mood for no reason, voluntary crying for no reason. Ayan, can't think properly, puro emosyon na lang, nagwawalang kibo. Okay, exhausted, everything is out of control. Friends, yes, this is actually signs of emotional exhaustion. Another sign of burnout that you need to take note of, depersonalization. Yung mga dati, ang dami mong pakialam, ngayon wala ka ng pakialam. For example lang dati you care about weekends with your family. And that you really would like to make things na, oh, you would cook well for them, you would do this for them, you would prepare, set a meal, tablescape for your family, or be the one to organize things. Boom, come burnout. Ayaw mo nang mag-isip. Ayaw mo nang matatanungin ka kung anong ulam. Bahala na kayong mag-order at ayoko munang may pumansin sa akin. And you just don't care even if you would like to care. Have you encountered that? That's what we call depersonalization. Nawala na yung personal mong attachment sa bagay na yun. Before that you care and you are heavily invested, now it has become parang, and then so what? Have you ever been there? Edlin, sakto, gusto mo na lang matulog. Buti ka nga, gusto mo lang matulog eh. Ako minsan gusto ko na lang mag-disappear muna. Ganyan. Pause muna tayo, friends. Matulog muna ako. O doon lang ako sa kwarto, walang kakausap sa akin. Ganyan. So another thing, the third sign of burnout is low sense of personal accomplishment. Feeling mo kahit anong ginawa mo, wala pa ring saysay. Low sense of personal accomplishment. You feel that even though that these are the things that making you feel alive, even though that you know that this is something that uplifts you, it's not working. Even though that you know that you've contributed, that you've done something good, that you've served other people, and you've heard them say that thank you for doing something like this, you have to realize, ay, pero bakit wala pa rin akong sense of personal accomplishment? So that's the three signs of general burnout. So that's general burnout in particular, but now we're moving into particularly emotional burnout. So what I would like you to reflect about, who are at risk? Tingnan mo, friend, andito ka ba? People with stressful work. Lalo na yung mga naka-work from home, tapos dati hindi yan yung bulk of work nyo natin, tapos biglang dumagsa yung trabaho, tapos parang pang dalawang tao, tapos you have to answer emails or work-related concerns at night, and there's no longer, ito, I've heard this many times in this work from home situation, the lack of boundary between the home or family life and work. Kasi even pag gabi, people think na nasa bahay ka lang at you will reply. So it's just not about work, work na trabaho na nasa opisina, but you know, the collapse of the boundary between the home and the work. So another thing that I would like you to reflect about is caregivers, helping professionals, frontliners. I think I am in this, I'm not a frontliner, but I'm in the helping profession, and also caregiver, people who are caring, taking care of others. You have to realize that it can also be a sign of burnout because, for example, I've heard of a friend who's taking care of elderly home. The caregivers are actually running into burnout because they have been on shift and they're on lockdown. Ila-lockdown sila, so mag-shift sila dun lang sila sa home, and then hindi sila pwedeng lumabas, tapos mag-shift, magpapalit sila after a week. It can really be a cause kasi yung trabaho natin, you're giving already, but then the more that it becomes, we are more at risk with the things that we're doing because we're caring too much, helping professionals. People in my professions, the psychologists and counselors, they are already also at risk simply because there's just too much mental health concerns that we are already absorbing. Another teachers, friends, meron ba akong mga teacher friends dito? Meron ba akong mga teacher friends dito, taas ang kamay? Or you're also at risk. Kasi remember the pivot that we need to do in order to teach. And now, there's just too much concerns again that we have to face. Somebody shared here, John, I realize I socialize with your parents. I have to talk to them. I check on them. However, even before the pandemic. I- Okay lang na hindi magkita. Yes. Thank you, John. Okay. Yeah, we are at risk. Another thing is of course the doctors and the frontliner, they're very much at risk. So friends, yun yung mga at risk ha, because we're actually in the helping profession. Ako, when I was a full-time guidance counselor, I was really I, it took me a psychologist friend to sit down with him for several sessions before I was able to deliberately help myself because I was really on a burnout. And it happened during the time that I also had miscarriage and I also just finished my master's degree. Kaya talagang nagsunod-sunod, nagdikit-dikit yung mga bagay. Another thing, living in people living with chronic illness, hindi naman tayo yon. People with major life changes. Isabihin ko sa inyo kung sino to. Another one. Uh, People in financial difficulties. People in situation of financial difficulty or those with financial stress, it can be very, very true. We can be in the point of burnout kasi hindi natin na-realize that parang di ba, ang tawag na, narinig ko sa mom ko, nakakakult ang mag-isip. Hindi ka matulog sa kaiisip. Totoo yan. Totoo yan. That can happen. And as we said earlier, people with major life changes can be prone to burnout. Kala nyo na masaya lahat? Hindi. Yung iba kasi marrying, having a baby, those are actually good stressors but can actually cause emotional burnout. Hindi ako magsisinungaling dito, pero I've seen also women, friends, mothers na talagang they're so emotionally drained in having a baby despite that it's such a happy event. Especially if the conditions, halimbawa sila lang mag-isa sa bahay, wala silang karelyebo sa bata, or another thing is hirap sila mag-breastfeed. And also, lalo na kung the baby is fussy or the baby is sick, talagang it can be emotionally draining. So here, you have to check here. Another is that moving homes and shifting career, that can be major life events. Pero, punta tayo ngayon dito sa buhay natin sa quarantine, friends. Let's be honest with each other. Did you ever felt that you're emotionally burned out simply because of this prolonged quarantine situation? Yes or no? Nandito na ba tayo sa sitwasyon na parang, "Oh, wow, nandito na pala ako, hindi lang natin napapansin." Get it? We have to check, are we in that situation? Tignan mo, ang dami ditong teachers. Yes, school is starting soon. School is starting soon. So, ayan na naman tayo, parang bago pa lang tayo nakakapahinga, eto na naman, ratsyada ulit. So, people in prolonged quarantine, friends, kung nakaka-relate kayo, press hard. And I would like to warn you that failure to deal with burnout, that's why I talked about this. Failure to deal with burnout can affect our mental and physical health. Al Burnout, emotional burnout, it's not depression. Emotional burnout, it's not actually a sign of a mental health illness or mental health disease. But failure to deal with burnout can really affect our bodies and our mental health. Kaya yan yung kailangan natin makita. Nagiging ano siya, nagiging susi, nagiging daan. Kasi it means that there's already a situation that we cannot deal with that is already happening but needs to be addressed. So friends, I would like you to realize these three aspects on how our emotional burnout affects our health. Way back in this coffee break episode, there is an episode that I discussed about mind body connection. And whatever our mind cannot take, it's actually absorbed by our bodies. So, whatever is there in our mind, the body absorbs. Whatever there is in the emotion, especially if there's too much toxicity. Remember toxic relationships last week? You have to really realize that the body is the one absorbing so much. So, yes, Judd, it becomes an entry point to more serious mental problems. So, burnout pa lang, kailangan you're on your toes already. And how would you say it if it's burnout? If it's already prolonged, yung dating okay ka, hindi mo magawa, ngayon, yung dating okay naman sa'yo, bakit now? I don't like it. I'm really burned out from this. And it's just not one day and you put a solution, nagbakasyon ka isang araw, tapos nagbakasyon ka lang, wala na. Hindi siya basta lilipad in one day. It can actually take a while for you to be able to address. So how does burnout affect our mental health? Our own total health. Una, it causes unhealthy release of emotions. So the stress hormones that's being released, what we okay, the stress hormones that's being released, it's actually the stress hormones is important for us to detect stress. Kaya lang ang nangyayari, the cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone and it appears in times of stress. So yun yung when we are threatened, it will be released and our body goes back to the normal functioning once we're good. The thing is with stressed people, the cortisol level is always high. Hindi na kumakalma. Hindi na bumabalik sa normal na rate. Kaya forever na siyang naka-alert. So, the unhealthy release of the hormones can cause sickness. What sickness? Name it. Diarrhea, insomnia, migraine, whatever your body is weak about, it can cause stress. I'm not saying it's limited to those sickness that I mentioned, but it's mostly related to what we often encounter. So tanungin niyo yung katawan nyo, if you are sick like me, is this my body's way of telling me that I am absorbing too much stress? Kasi ako, ang sagot ng katawan ko, yes! Matagal na yung indicator, yes! As much as I'm trying to deal with it, it shouted at me and it asked me to just sit back and rest for the last 3 days. Kulang pa, dadagdagan pa. Okay, that's one, unhealthy release of hormones. Number two, and because of the unhealthy release of hormones, there's the physical ailments. Ito yung because of the body's continuously fighting stress, yung fight or flight mode na tinatawag, emotional burnout can actually cause a lot of other ailments. Yung iba hindi makakain, yung iba naman nasusobrahan man ng kain. Others really go through changes in sleeping patterns, so hindi sila makatulog. Yung iba naman tulog ng tulog. Others have digestion problems, weight loss or weight gain, heart palpitation, high blood pressure, headache, migraine, vertigo, name it, ano pa, sa inyo sa tingin nyo, what physical ailment do you have right now that your body is telling you that it's really, really stress? Meron ba? Ayan, Carol. Acid reflux, vomiting, and rashes. Ay, that's true. Yes, rashes are really the skin's way of already the releasing the stress that the body cannot absorb. Okay, vomiting, headache, acid reflux, headache. Yes. Thank you, friends, for sharing. And then lastly, challenges in social interaction. Di ba? Kaya minsan may sumagot sa inyo today, parang minsan ayaw mo na lang may kausap. Yes. Ayaw mo na lang may kausap, ayaw mo na munang kumibo. Gusto mo munang mapag-isa. Parang lahat gusto mong sabihan ng walang lalapit kung ayaw niyong masaktan. Yan, gusto nyo na magkaroon ng challenges in social interaction, ayaw nyo may nag-PM sa inyo, ayaw mong, ayaw mo munang makialam. Ayaw mong magbukas ng social media. It's just because there's so much happening with you, you cannot take it. Carol, gusto mo ng day off, hindi lang day off yan. Day week yan. Day week or talagang break talaga. Pero if you cannot really take a day off, I really suggest that you have to have a day off. Kung nararamdaman mo na that, parang iba na yung mood ko, ako personally, iba na yung mood ko, Pag hindi severe emotional burnout, pag yung parang signs pa lang, ang bilis ko na magkasipon or magka-allergy or magkasakit or whatever it's that happening to you. Another thing, I don't want to deal with anybody, even though love the family that I love. Wait, I there's just so much. I think I need to take a break first. Yeah. Sister, that's so cute. Ayaw ko munang mag-isip. Gusto ko lang mag-swimming. Ay, buti ka pa may pag malapit ka sa dagat kung nasan ka man, sister. Bless you, sister. Leave of absence. Just last sharing before I end. This on Thursday, I'll discuss with you, friends, what can we do to be able to get ourselves out of emotional burnout. When I got into work burnout, when I was working before, the one that I mentioned, I'll talk about my work burnout now, but the next episode, I'll talk about something, another burnout episode. Yes, I'm prone to burnout. As much as I'm trying to support myself, that really can happen to me. So I am always praying that God will give me the grace to support myself and to kaya ako naging very much advocate of self-care. Ayan, passive ka muna, ang sungit ko minsan. Karen, I really took a leave of absence. I think I took a 2-week leave from work, 2 weeks, and then it's already sem break also. So nakadikit. So naging mukhang 3 weeks yung leave ko. I took a leave without pay. And then what my psychologist friend told me, no, it shall don't do anything. Alam niyo nung sinabi niya sa akin na wala akong gagawin, wala, tutunganga ka lang. Friends, may mga bagay tayong dapat tinatayuan, 'di ba? Nakikita niyo 'yan ngayon. Tumindig or tumindig or tumunganga. Yung tunganga na sinasabi ko dito, ang dapat na tayong tumunganga minsan is to take ourselves away from work and our cares. Pero may mga bagay na dapat panindigan. Dapat tayong natin panindigan yung health natin, yung well-being natin, na kailangan mong tumindig para tumunganga. Na-gets niyo yun? Kailangan natin na to take that leave of absence if it's needed without explanation kasi kailangan. Because our mental health is and it's already helping. Oh, I'm so happy for you. You took a 2 months leave and changed my routine. Soul searching, finding my purpose. That's so good, Karen. That's so I'm happy for you. Kasama na dyan yung midlife, actually. Kasabihin ko siya, kasama na dyan yan. Because yeah, and we need that. We need that. Walang ibang tutulong sa atin kung hindi tayo. So we really need to take that kind of leave. We really need to take that stand and to just wait at 5 p.m. Ayoko nang may re-replyan ako. Sabi nga ni sister, kailangan ko na mag-swimming or ayoko, passive muna ako, wala munang kakausap. Yes, it's like that. It's putting your boundaries straight so that you can really restore yourself and your sanity. So, yan yung capture natin ngayon. Emotional burnout, may panahon para tumunganga, ngunit huwag kalimutang tumindig. Yes, tumindig muna tayo para tayo'y makatunganga. Para makatunganga na tayo ng nakangiti, hindi nakatunganga ng nakanganga. Magkaiba yon, friends. Okay, ang sarap tumunganga lalo na ngayon, umuulan-ulan pa. Pero friends, this is the end of this session on Coffee Break. On Thursday, I will continue about emotional burnout and what can we do to get ourselves and to help ourselves out of it. And as promised, on Thursday, I will also be announcing already now and launching this Thursday, that's the Feast of Saint Martha. Di ba? Eksakto yung topic natin. Na-burnout kaya si Saint Martha of Bethany? Tanungin natin dito si Sister. Sister, na-burnout kaya siya? Anyway, I'm going to launch the workshop that I'll be doing. It's called Martha's Pause. It's going to be on Martha's Pause. It's my signature workshop. This is as a workshop that I personally conduct. Save the date. It's going to be on September 18. It's going to focus on our own well-being, and this is about Martha's Pause, body and being. So I'm so excited for this because I know that many of us would be blessed. Many of us needs it at this time, and we need to gather together again to be able to help the inner Martha in us. Either you are a man or a woman, there's always a side of us who is like Martha of Bethany. And on Thursday, because it's her feast, I'm going to launch it. I'm going to open the registration, and it's going to run on a promo rate. And after 2 weeks, we're going to put it up in its regular rate. I hope that you can sign up and join me because we offer very limited slots since it's a workshop. So it's not just a workshop, it's a care shop. So I hope that each of you find time to tumindig. Tindigan nyo ang inyong well-being, ang ating sanity, at ang ating mga basic needs. And I hope that this has helped you. I hope that this session will be nourishing for you. And on Thursday, I will wait for you again here at Coffee Break. But meanwhile, friends, if you are blessed with this session, if you are blessed with Coffee Break, please share this to family and friends. Secondly, put that in the comment. Ano ang natutunan mo in this coffee break session? Put that in the coffee. Put that in your coffee. No, put that in your comment section. And then third, please help me bless the missions that I do by blessing me through stars. You can send digital stars. That's stars is that digital gift that you sent me. Yes, it becomes a monetary contribution so that I can pay for all the tech and all the writer, all the back room that I pay for, all the subscription that I use in order for me to come up with this life, and also all the fundings that I'm going to get for these uh, July until August, my birth month. I'm going to share it to the people in our community, and that it's the Anawim Mission Foundation. So I hope that through me, if I bless you, bless me also by blessing the mission that I do, so I can also pass the blessing to other people and to those who need us. So I hope that you join me again on Thursday. Please share this to friends, send stars, and please don't forget tumindig para sa ating kapakanan. Emotional burnout is real, friends. It can happen to all of us. Please put here your learning for the day, and let's continue the discussion on Thursday. Maraming salamat and God bless you all, friends. This is Dr. Michele Alignay, your family psychologist, with real conversations on family life, relationships, well-being, and faith here at Coffee Break with Dr. Michele.